Peace. This is a story that I saw on the CBS Morning News that I thought was hilarious. It involved and very insightful. So we're going to see how they report it. It is going to involve the one of the congressional representatives. Her name is Senator Maxine Waters, old head black female, and Bill O'Reilly. So let's see how they report this issue.
I like that. Bill O'Reilly acknowledged again last night that he made a mistake by commenting on Congresswoman Maxine Waters' appearance. The Fox News host made the initial comments on Tuesday morning, and he was asked to react to a part of a speech by Waters.
How dangerous he is. I didn't hear a word she said. I was looking at the James Brown wig.
Bill O'Reilly said he was looking at the James Brown wig. You know, people said that what he said was insulting, but what it really was showing is that the Caucasian male in authority does not take the black female serious. And the so-called black female wants to be taken serious so bad by the so-called white male. Why? Because he's in power. You know, a lot of so-called black men are overly infatuated with why the black woman doesn't respect it. It's very, very simple. Women in general, not just the so-called black female, they're going to respect whoever is in power. Right now, it's the so-called white man's time to rule. His power is waning and is going to diminish more and more because his society is based in a credit-based system. So in a credit-based system, you basically put the timer on your own society whenever you have a credit-based system. All right, because they practice what's known as a balloon inflation economy. It just keeps going up and up and up, and the balloon just keeps expanding, but eventually it's going to pop. All right, because they're not using real money. But that eventually is one of the ways that the so-called white man society is going to fall. I say so-called because they're not. You know, for people who ask, like a brother asked me, why do you say so-called black or so-called white? Because black and white are not races. All right, a color cannot be a race. Those are what are known as corporate designations: black, white, yellow, red. If you notice, when the so-called Caucasian man came into power, he named races based on color because they don't respect culture. All right, when you become a slave or a servant, you no longer have a culture. You just you're given a color designation. Just like if somebody were to go to prison or join the military. They don't care about what you like or don't like. You're there to serve. That's it. But that basically is the little breakdown in regards to that. But now let's see what Bill O'Reilly is going to say about Maxine Waters. And once again, the so-called Caucasian man does not take the black female seriously.
If we have a picture of James, it's the same one. It's the same one, right? And he's not using it anymore.
And it is the same exact wig. The difference is that James Brown actually had his own hair. All right. The so-called black female thinks that she's fooling somebody with these ridiculous wigs. I mean, look at that thing, man. You could take that thing off her head and dust your house with that.
You're all wrong.
I have to defend her on that. You can't go after a woman's looks. I think she's very attractive.
Stop lying. All right. And he's not going after her looks. He's going after that hair. That's not her looks. That's a helmet that's on her head. She can ride a motorcycle with that thing on.
I didn't say she wasn't attractive. I love James Brown.
Critics on Twitter said those comments demonstrated how women, especially black women, are treated unfairly just for doing their jobs.
Absolutely.
No. Black females are treated unfairly in their position of in the position of work and in their workplace, oftentimes because they bring negative energy. They're loud, overbearing, obnoxious, and delusional. In general, is that every last black woman? No, but in general, that's what they are, and they have alienated themselves from their own so-called people by trying to create their own race, that being black women. All right, so-called black women. The so-called black woman thinks that black women or black woman is a race in and of itself. All right. This is why I told a lot of you so-called black men who want to run behind that Black Lives Matter nonsense. Just look at their website. All right. They're only going to use you as a foot soldier. They are against the so-called patriarchy. When they say that they're against patriarchy, they're talking about you, so-called black man. They're not talking about the so-called white man, because they know they cannot overpower the so-called white man. They're talking about you. That's who they want to totally disenfranchise or finish you off. All right. Now let's look at this this tweet. The black woman said, black women, hashtag black women at work are paid less, asked to do more, are constantly antagonized, and then called angry or abrasive for setting boundaries. No, sorry, that's more delusion. Actually, so-called black women are actually asked to do less than anybody. You know, any so-called black man who's worked in corporate America knows that you have a bevy of so-called black women that work in the white man's corporate world who oftentimes are incompetent, obnoxious, lazy, and bring their personal issues into the workplace. And they are the main antagonizers, often trying to get into other people's business, getting a little too comfortable, being overly disrespectful, particularly towards black males in the workplace, trying to treat the job as a dating service. Right. And then she says, and then call angry or abrasive, because you oftentimes are angry and abrasive for no reason, oftentimes being the beneficiary of entitlement. It's very, very easy for the black female to be put in a capacity of a secretary or administrative assistant in the workplace, and oftentimes she can barely type. So I don't want to hear about the issues that they have in the workplace.
Waters was asked Tuesday night about what O'Reilly had said.
Hashtag black woman at work, where commanding respect is considered having an attitude. No. Having an attitude is considered having an attitude. You receive respect in the workplace and everywhere else by being good at what you do and being respectful. That's how you get respect anywhere in life, not just in the workplace.
I'm a strong black woman.
Oh, here you go. That should be the real hashtag, right? You such a strong black woman, but you don't even have the self-confidence to show your real hair or whatever strands are left. All right. She's worried that if that helmet come off her head, she's going to look like Lou Gossett Jr.
And I cannot be intimidated. I cannot be undermined. I cannot be thought to be afraid of Bill O'Reilly or anybody.
Now, Maxine Waters, we know that you're a senator. Let's be honest. They have a file on you like they have a file on everybody else. You can talk all that nonsense about how you cannot be intimidated. They have a file on you like they have a file on everybody else. They'll pull your file and you will be quiet like a nice little puppy. All right. All the man did was make fun of that ridiculous wig on your head. Pardon me. You don't have no damn hair. All he did was make fun of that ridiculous wig sitting on your scalp. All right. That's all he did. Looking like Charles S. Dutton on rock. All right. That's all he did. It wasn't that big a deal. The same way that you black women make fun of Donald Trump's hair, you should be able to take these same jokes and the same criticism. It's not that big a deal. All right. Black men know if you have even a little bit of a receding hairline in the corners, you get made fun of. Black women make fun of you. Black men make fun of you. Everybody gets made fun of. The black woman is the only one who thinks that nobody could make fun of her hair issues. And we're going to continue this thing about the so-called black female and her hair issues. All right, because it's like that story about the emperor's new clothes where he's walking around naked and he thinks that he's dressed fine and everybody is laughing at him. The black female walks around with these ridiculous wigs on and wants to play make-believe like nobody's supposed to pay attention. And every time she's wearing a wig, it's always a wig of a Caucasian woman or a female with straight hair. But supposedly you're a strong black woman. If you're a strong black woman, if you're going to wear fake hair, at least wear a fake afro, you would think, right? But oftentimes you'll hear the black female say, well, the reason why we do this is because black men don't try to blame the black man for your issues. When the black man, so-called black man, was in authority in the 60s and 70s, he had you wearing afros. You decided to follow Diana Ross and a lot of those other famous black females in entertainment who were getting married to white men and who decided to wear weaves and look like white women. You decided to do that. Own that. The same way in the 30s and 40s when black men were running around putting lye and acid in their scalp to straighten their hair to look like white men, they had to own that. All right? They came out of that. Y'all are still in that. For the last 40 years, 30 plus years, y'all have been into that. All right? So you have to own that. Stop trying to blame everybody else for your massive and rampant mental and psychological issues and disorders. I mean, look at this woman's hair. This is ridiculous, man.
O'Reilly's comments last night were in response to an email.
And there's another one with a wig on the head. I'm sorry, a weave or whatever that is. And notice they're always trying to look like the Caucasian woman, but allegedly they're strong black women. And this goes into a curse. I know some of you brothers don't believe in the Bible, but this goes into a curse that's in the scriptures. All right? That involves not only just a self-image issue, but an issue that a lot of these females will have with their hair. And a lot of the problems they have with their hair also go into their diet. All right? A lot of these women, they have terrible diet. They eating all type of pork, and the so-called black woman loves pork, and they love shellfish and all that nonsense that totally destroys their bloodstream, and it brings acidity to their bloodstream, throws off their pH balance, right? That's why a lot of them have smelly vaginas and issues growing their hair because of their diet and their lack of exercise. This woman here, Gail, you watch her whole bottom grill is brown. They drink too much coffee. They don't exercise in the morning. They don't do what they need to do to maintain their proper health. When your health is out of balance physically, that leads to having an attitude because your blood is not flowing properly. You have trouble breathing. That leads to you being easily antagonized. It leads to you being irritable. All right?
Email from a viewer who asked why he apologized at all since Waters has been so critical of the president.
Exactly. That's the point. Like a lot of black females, they could dish it out, but they can't take it. He shouldn't apologize for anything. He said what he said. She has a ridiculous wig on. It's the truth.
I made a dumb comment that detracted from the serious issue you raised, so I apologized. That's old school. You make a mistake,
O'Reilly followed his original apology with a lengthy criticism of Waters. He said she won't come on his show because, quote, she does not want to be challenged. Anybody who...
Of course she doesn't want to be challenged. She's living in a bubble, right? The strong black woman bubble means that they could say what they want and do what they want and feel how they want, but you can't say anything back. Why would she want to come on your show and actually be challenged with issues? That means that she actually has to have content behind her character. All right? Anybody who's a senator in the U.S. government has to have scratched a lot of people's backs. All right? I'll leave it at that. People who think that people like Maxine Waters are in the U.S. government to serve you, you're a fool. She has scratched a lot of people's backs to get to where she's at. Same way with Barack Obama and anybody else who was a U.S. senator, whether black or white, Republican or Democrat. They had to scratch a lot of people's backs. They had to provide a lot of favors, whether it be economic, whether it be sexual, whether it be whatever. All right. That's how they get down. All right. So don't be surprised when you hear about stories like Pizzagate, the Pizzagate scandal with the so-called child sex trafficking that they're claiming is a hoax, or, some of the congressmen that get found in bathrooms and that gay men frequent for sex and all that. That stuff is all over the place. I guarantee that's why I said from the very beginning, Maxine Waters, they have a file on you that probably could fill an entire file cabinet. All right. Just by going by the Freedom of Information Act, probably 30 years from now, they probably got stuff saying that she gave fellatio to Richard Nixon back in the 70s, allegedly. I'm just saying. Right? Believe me, they got all type of dirt on all these people. So save that strong black woman stuff for somebody else. That's just something for her to say to curry favor with a lot of these other broads out here on social media. It's nonsense.
Who knows Maxine Waters says.
doesn't mind being challenged.
She doesn't mind being challenged, and I'm glad that O'Reilly said that it was a dumb comment. A lot of people were very offended by his words.
Yeah.
It reminds me of sort of taking debate in, I think, middle school, where they said ad hominem attacks were the weakest kind of attacks to make.
That's right. That's right.
And they often say you make ad hominem attacks when you have nothing else to say on the substance.
That's right.
Well, that's why she should come on his show to prove that he was actually making an ad hominem attack with no substance behind it. Now she can go on and show that she's a strong, quote unquote, strong black woman by defending her stances on various issues. Now she should go on his show and bring content behind her commentary on Donald Trump. We know that she won't do that because, like so many other so-called strong black women, she prefers to be the only one with the microphone.
That's right.
Space flight company, space.
So that's it on that. But that's just a little touch that I saw that I thought was hilarious. I didn't think anything was wrong with his comment. I just thought that was him coming out of the matrix for a second. He just said what everybody is thinking. All right. Like I said, the black female has an emperor's new clothes mentality when it comes to wearing those ridiculous wigs. All right. It is what it is. Peace.